In the 12th century, two green-skinned children appeared in the quiet English village of Woolpit. They spoke no known language, wore unfamiliar clothes, and claimed to be from a place with no sun. One died. The other lived and told a story that has haunted history ever since. For centuries, it was dismissed as folklore. But in 2024, a scientific study reopened the mystery with a chilling possibility. What if the legend was rooted in a genetic reality? This is The True Strange, where history's strangest tales are peeled back, one layer at a time. Woolpit, Suffolk, England, sometime around the year 1150. Farmers working the fields near a set of wolf pits, a remnant of medieval pest control, noticed something strange. Two children, a boy and a girl, emerged from the woods. They were crying, confused, and green. The villagers brought them into town. The children were small, malnourished, and terrified. They spoke in gibberish. Their skin had a greenish hue, unlike anything anyone had seen. They wouldn't eat bread or meat, only raw beans. Eventually, the children adapted, but the boy grew weaker and died. The girl survived. She learned English, and what she revealed was unsettling. She claimed they came from a place called St. Martin's Land, where the sun never shined, everything was dim and twilight, and everyone was green. She said they were tending cattle when they wandered into a cave and emerged in Woolpit. Historians have debated the Woolpit story for centuries. Was it allegory, misremembered history, or an exaggerated tale passed down over generations? Some say the children were Flemish refugees displaced during a time of civil war in England. Their greenish hue may have been malnutrition or anemia. The strange language could have been Flemish, unknown to the locals. The beans, a familiar food from their homeland. Others suggested a more metaphorical interpretation. The green children represented outcasts, foreigners, or even feral children lost to the forest. But none of these theories explain the specifics: the place without sunlight, the sudden appearance, or the strange tunnel-like entrance from one world to another. Then, in early 2024, a group of European geneticists released a peer-reviewed paper on a rare condition, hypochromic anemia coupled with chlorosis, a form of iron deficiency that causes a greenish tint in the skin under certain lighting. Even more intriguingly, they found a specific genetic mutation in several related patients from rural English bloodlines, one tracing ancestry back to Suffolk. The study sparked renewed attention. Could this rare genetic condition be the key to the Woolpit mystery? The paper didn't mention the children specifically, but online theorists quickly made the connection. Suddenly, what was once folklore had a modern scientific shadow behind it. One detail often ignored in earlier versions of the story was the children's insistence that they came from a land with no sun. At first, this was dismissed as a fantasy. But in light of modern understanding, new interpretations have emerged. Could the land of twilight have been a metaphor for a dense forest or life underground? In some retellings, the girl mentioned a bright land they could see beyond a river, perhaps the world above the surface. There's also the theory that the children may have lived in underground warrens, mines, or caves, either as runaways or descendants of isolated communities. If so, their disorientation upon surfacing, strange dialect, and even diet could be partially explained. But that still leaves the question of how they arrived. Through a tunnel, she said. A portal? A cave? Or something else entirely? One of the strangest elements is the language. The villagers couldn't understand the children, and vice versa. The girl eventually learned English, but her original tongue was never identified. Linguists point out that, in 12th century England, language varied drastically by region and class. A rural dialect, or even a regional Flemish tongue, could have been unrecognizable to English peasants. However, this hasn't stopped fringe theorists from suggesting more outlandish ideas: alien languages, time travelers, or children from another dimension. While those theories remain on the edge, the core mystery remains. Where did they come from and how? The story of the green children has endured for over 800 years. It's been told in folk tales, retold in Victorian journals, and even adapted into children's books. But it also lingers in the collective imagination because of what it implies: another world just out of reach, a hidden place accessible only by accident. And now, with genetic evidence possibly giving the legend a biological foundation, the line between fiction and fact has grown disturbingly thin. In a way, the story serves as a cultural mirror. In medieval times, it may have reflected fears of the unknown or warnings against strangers. In modern times, it reveals how ancient stories can carry slivers of truth, waiting to be uncovered by science. Here at The True Strange, we believe stories like this persist for a reason, not because they're ghosts of fantasy, but because they contain kernels of something real, distorted through time. What makes the green children of Woolpit so enduring is the perfect blend of the bizarre and the plausible. Strange enough to haunt the imagination, grounded enough to raise genuine questions. What did that girl really see? Could it have been a subterranean community, a hidden population, or even a lost piece of history? Was she misremembering a traumatic event, or did her story offer a glimpse into something we're still not ready to understand? The mystery of the green children has never been fully solved, and maybe it never will be. But with modern science uncovering rare conditions that could explain the details once thought impossible, we find ourselves looking at old legends through a new lens. In the end, it's not about proving every word true. It's about understanding why these stories exist and what they tell us about the world we think we know. If you've ever felt that our reality holds stranger truths than fiction dares imagine, you're in the right place. Subscribe to The True Strange, and let's keep uncovering the stories hiding in plain sight.